What's up YouTube, Jay Traveling here, and today I want to talk about my Bitmain Antminers, using them on residential electric, what they're making, we'll look at profit wise and how much I'm spending running them, and then give you guys my decision on if I think it's worth buying them to run in a residential area, or if I think people should just wait and only run them in commercial areas where electric's a lot cheaper. If you like this shirt that I'm wearing, you can check out the store in the description below. Get your Drink Beer Mine Crypto shirts and other Mine Crypto shirts, all designed by me and my girlfriend, all for sale. So check it out, help support the channel. This box isn't part of this video though. This is a AAA wave frame, which I will be building later on. So what I'll do here is I'll show you my Hive OS that I am running my Antminers on. They're both Flashwood Hive OS Antminers, and you guys have seen them in my previous videos, and I'll show a little clip here. The one has the 4-inch ductwork piped out to the window, and the other one is just sitting on top of my grow tent, pointed out towards the window. I do plan on putting a cone on the second one, and I do have another 4-inch exhaust ductwork that I'll run with it to pipe both just straight out the window. Now I don't know if I'm going to leave the one on top of the rack or move the other one on top of the rack where the other one is, or possibly put the one on top of the small wire rack I have with my GPU rigs on it and move those boxes so that they're kind of in the corner and I'm thinking I can kind of use them in the corner, kind of suck in some of the hot air in the basement and exhaust it out the window to kind of use it as one, a miner, and two, a small exhaust system. But we'll see what I do. If I do plan to do it, I'll make a video out of it. But here we'll go on. I'll show you guys my tuning as far as what I used in Hive OS. Now I can show you some different ones, but I stuck with the 9.8 terahash tune at about 800 watts. It can range anywhere from 780 watts to 880, depending on if ASIC boost is enabled. And this pool has ASIC boost. I'm on the pull-and pool, so it had ASIC boost, so I'm using that with it. Now it automatically did that. I didn't have to change any settings once I was on the pool. And pooling was actually one of the only pools I could get to work with my Antminers. But the downside is the 0.005 Bitcoin payout that they have. It doesn't seem to do it any earlier. So I have to wait almost anywhere between 20 to 25 days just to get one payout. But I was only running one for a while. So hopefully with two, it's a little bit shorter than that. But we'll see. But I can always turn the overclock on it up, but then I'm running more power, which right now currently I can handle, but later on down the road, once I get all my other rigs set up, power might be an issue. I do have 230 amp outlets down there, but they'll be pretty much near maxed out. But right now, let's go inside the computer and I'll show you my Hive OS with them, and then we'll go over to what to mine and check out the ASIC section of it, and we'll calculate it and see if it's worth running these, the profits I'm getting out of it, and if I recommend getting them or if I think people should just stick to GPU mining for now. But let's go ahead and get into the computer. So this is inside of my Hive OS, and as you can see, my two Antminers here, they're both S9s, both the same. One has a higher load average than the other, which could have to do with power efficiency. I mean, every miner is going to be a little bit different. The fans are a little off, but like I said, they're in different spots in the room, different like heating and air stuff like that. But as you can see, about 800 watts each, and the power bank did read 6 amps, which falls in line with what this is saying of 800 watts. So I think it's a pretty accurate reading on how much it's actually using. It's not like your GPU mining rigs where you have like what it's reporting here is what the cards are actually reporting power usage, but you still have motherboards and risers that aren't taken into account. But let's go in here. You can see it's running. They're both 9.7, like almost 9.8. Looks like this one's doing a little bit more. But let's go into the one. I'll show you overclock profiles here. So I like using Hive OS because I can just see them with all my GPU rigs. Other than the few that I have on Windows, I do have a couple GPU rigs on Windows because of mainly because of 3060s that are running on the dev driver. But look at all these overclock profiles. Now I do have the 1600 watt Bitmain power supply on them, so I can run all the way up to like, I can run up to 16.8 terahash, or even like if I want to be a little safer, 16 terahash, I'm sorry, at 1430 watts. But I don't choose these. I stick with this one because when I calculated all these, this was my most efficient one. And when I say most efficient, not power wise obviously, but it yields me the best terahash per watt, like hash per watt, if that makes sense. Now to get the true reading, I just based it off of these numbers, like this and this, so I divided this by the wattage to get the numbers. To get the true readings, I'd have to program this in, let it self-tune, and that takes a few minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes, and then let it run and see what it settled out at to really get like a true number of what wattage it's going to use and how like fast it's going to mine, the terahash wise. Now this is what it looks like in here. Now it looks like this one's reading weird, because if I go to this one, it's reading like this. So I don't know if that's just a chipset or something, but I'll let it run. I had that happen on a T9 where it would read really odd, but it kept it running. I do see a break, but it looks like both of them have, so it's probably just a server issue on Hive's part. I don't think my miner was down. Now these have 3 hash boards in them, and each hash board here has the wattage of what each board is doing. Now that could be a good way to decide if one's bad or not, but it looks like they're all running about the same. So let's jump over to what to mine. I have both calculated out. I'm under the ASICs tab. I have both calculated out. I'm doing roughly 19.5 terahash. If I look at my farm and added it up, I'm doing pretty much what I said there. We bring the calculator out. I have 9.8 plus 9.7, so 19.5 terahash. So we'll leave it at that. And 1600 watts is roughly what I'm running. It's just under it, but we're talking like 2 or 3 watts under that. And we'll just calculate this out at 13 watts per kilowatt hour. Now I'm the slightest bit lower than 13 cents per kilowatt hour, but I've also heard of people up towards 19-20 cents a kilowatt hour. So as of today, which is 10/4 at like 9:45 a.m. on Eastern time, this is generating $625 a day, but I'm profiting $126 a day, and this is on both of them. So roughly making about 75 cents each per unit. But I'm burning up, look at that, $2.50 a day on each unit, pretty much, running it at 800 watts. So I mean, the profitability isn't too great, but I mean, it's better. But if we look at it, like, let's compare it to, I have some numbers dialed in. This is a higher wattage, but let's compare it to my 3070. Now my 3070s usually do anywhere between 61 to 62 megahash and range anywhere between 120 to 130 watts, depending on the card. But if we calculate that out, that's generating 401 a day on Ethereum right now. That profits me $3.40 almost. So these Antminers cost me about $350 to $400 each. One was about $400 that came with the power supply, and one was $350 without the power supply. But I had a power supply on hand from another Antminer that I sold without one. So you're looking at $350 to $400. So if I spent $800, let's say if I bought both of those, I'm looking at $625 a day at $125 profit. But I'm also looking at pretty much what I would have paid for that 3070 here, like, which is like the 700 mark. So in my opinion, I'd purchase the 3070, but now to find one that's not LHR is really hard. You're gonna be paying about $1,400. But let's say, like, let's compare it to one of my 580s, because these are about $350 on. You can get these for like $350 or something on eBay. 31 at 90 watts. because mine are doing about 90 watts. So I'm looking at $2.04 a day at $1.63 a profit. So in my opinion, right now, GPUs are more the way to go. There is a downside of you have to probably program your own ones. But if we look at my 580s, they're all doing about 31 mega hash a second at 80 watts, actually, not even 90. But we all know this is a little off. AMD's always off, so 90 is probably more accurate, or even like 95 watts is probably a little more accurate. But you're still looking at $1.60 a day. And that's actually calculating at 19 watts. I don't know why it's at 19 cents a kilowatt hour. So $1.74 a day is what I'd be looking at making. So, I mean, there is a chance that if I do land more GPUs at MSRP that are good for mining, that I end up unloading these Antminers. But for now, I'll keep them running. But that's the profitability pretty much on these Antminers as they sit. Looking at roughly $1.25, 75 cents each at my current settings and at 13 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, if you're in an industrial setting running like, we'll say like a local one near me runs like 9 cents a kilowatt hour. I mean, then I'm looking at, 9 cents, not 90, 9 cents a kilowatt hour. You're looking at like a $2.79, $2.80 profit. But I mean, that's in an industrial setting at a much lower cost. I mean, some of these I've heard of getting down to even lower, like 6 cents a kilowatt hour. Now at that point, yeah, I'd probably run Antminers because you can just set them up and just let them go. Yeah, your electric bill's real high, but you're still making some money and some disposable income. The thing is, are you making enough to cover your rent at that point? Because you're obviously calculated in already your electric bill. So that's not an issue. But you know, I just wanted to get some info out to you guys of what my S9s are doing right now and how they're doing. I mean, they're mining great. They're pretty much set it and forget it. Once you set it up, I mean, they just run. They do run really hot, and they'll blow a lot of hot air into your room. That's why I put the ductwork on it and have them pointed right out the window. But you know, this should give you guys the idea if it's worth buying these to run on residential electric. Not nearly as profitable as GPUs right now, but that could all change once Ethereum goes proof of stake, where Antminers and stuff become more valuable because they're making more. It all depends on what's going on at the time. I really don't know. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button. Check out the merch store in the description below. Like I see, you can find that shirt that I was wearing in the beginning. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.